Hi, my name is Samantha Sedjunggo and I am 20 years old. I just really want to preface that these are my own experiences, and I just hope that everyone can understand and empathize with what I believe is still a prevalent issue. My parents are from Indonesia, but my ancestors come from China, so I'm Chinese Indonesian. Parts of my culture that my parents were able to pass on to me were the language and I guess Indonesian culture itself. A big thing in our family is food, so we always eat Indonesian food like every single night. I'm pretty much like 80% fluent in Indonesian. I can't really speak that much, but I can understand a lot more than I can speak. But I think that's very common in a lot of second generation people of color. As a kid, not being able to see my Chinese Indonesian, culture on screen, it really made me latch onto, I guess, other cultures and other identities. If I saw like a cartoon character that had black hair and pale skin, I immediately was like, that's my guy, that's who I relate to. Racism is still very prevalent in Australia, especially microaggressions, I think is the most prevalent. If I could describe racism in Australia, it would definitely be casual racism. I think in Australia, our whole identity is to be, I guess, like chill. Like we're laid back, we're a country, we don't take things too deep or too seriously. But then I think that allows for these microaggressions to happen, whether it just be casual jokes with friends or whether, we're not supposed to take it too deep when you joke about someone else's culture or their language or their customs, but that's still perpetrating microaggressions and stereotypes. During COVID-19 times, I remember this incident happened. Like I heard on the news that these two Asian girls were just walking, doing their daily, the daily walks, and these two white girls, clearly around the same age, came up to them and spat on them because obviously the whole COVID pandemic. During that time I was in year 11 and year 12, and I had to go into school for like Saxon exams, and the microaggressions when I got on the bus or I got on the train, I guess the level of microaggressions was just, you could just feel it on the train. The heavy stares on me, if I coughed or if I sniffled a little bit, like people would just stare at me directly, and it honestly it made me really scared, because what if something like that would happen to me? It just really freaked me out. That was the first time where I felt like I didn't deserve, or at least from other people, that I didn't deserve to be Australian. It's gotten better now, I think, especially the post-pandemic atmosphere of it all, and especially in America, the big BLM movements as well as Stop Asian Hate. So it's gotten better, but when you feel that way as a teenager, you take that on a lot, and I think like some remnants I keep holding on to myself, especially when I go into the city or I go into school. I think to myself, am I going to get hate crimes, or what would happen if something similar to a global pandemic would happen? Would blame happen towards Eastern Asians as well? So I think I'm a lot more aware that racism exists, which sounds a bit naive, especially racism exists all around the world, but I think because of the pandemic, it really made my eyes a lot more aware. I hope that future generations of immigrant families can just be able to live in Australia, I love Australia. I think it's such a great place to live in, and I just think that they deserve as much as this country has to offer as anybody else, no matter how good their English is or how well versed they are in Australian customs and cultures. I hope and I pray that they are able to experience this country as its whole and without the racism attached to it.